Last time on the Blondies MX5 World Tour.
Lights are off and away we go. Koemans looks like he got a good launch and Frieders is going to have to filter into line behind him.
Big contact between Tori Tesla and Arcadius Tedderix on the backstretch.
Frieders is off from second. Rado's up into second. Jimmy Boland and Chuck Johnson, I believe, made contact coming out of turn one. It looks like most of the field were able to get around them, though.
I do notice that Scott Malcolm did get mixed up with someone in turn one as well.
And we got a battle for fifth. Arthur Chan drives it in a little high and he gets spun.
Looks like Guillermo Rato is actually going a bit defensive from Tuomas Hallinen, which you mentioned earlier, so he definitely feels under threat.
Someone went off a couple of cars in front of him. Trevor Mack.
Oh, there's contact.
Yeah, Eric Garcia spun John Koeneman. Koeneman tries to get back on track in front of Castro. Those two make contact. Yeah, probably a couple of words going to be exchanged about that one. And Rato's backing off. He is letting Hallinen go into second place. It's a change for second. Tuomas Hallinen. We haven't seen a whole lot of him this series, but he is fast and he's showing it right now. Is Aero going to try to defend? Yes, he is, but Yarman's down the inside. Oh, the Ferrari much late on the brakes, off into the gravel. That's going to cost Aero some spots.
Apparently, I'm getting word that Amjad Yaman had run into someone, Jari Ylimäinen, from what I'm hearing. It's worth noting that after all that and the difference in pit strategies, even though it was only a few laps, Rato is now ahead of Hallinen, but just barely. I'm pretty sure that the draft is going to pull Hallinen right back in because he's only maybe what looks like 6 car lengths behind Rato currently. And Jan Koemans is definitely playing that late strategy. He's coming in on lap 16.
Rato holding on to second right now, and he's got to do everything he can to try and finish second because he's only 52 points out of Koemans in the points. But just one bad race from Koemans between now and the end of the season will really hurt him because of the amount of races he's missed, and Rato could be up there battling for the championship.
And they're coming up on, this looks like Scott Malcolm, actually. So they're going to have to try and navigate this traffic as Malcolm spins and Rato takes the grass. This is going to give Hallinen the chance. He looks at the inside. Rato somehow holds him off into the corner. Wow, good stuff for Rato. I'm amazed that he held on to that position.
If they do collide, and there's a collision between lap cars in front of him, and Rato's got a bit of damage. Is that going to hurt him? Hallinen takes a look through Piper, but remains in third place. But Rato definitely has damage.
In fact, we're going to see the difference now between these two cars. Rato didn't get that great of an exit, and combined with his damage, he goes very far inside. Hallinen still peaks on the inside. Rato's going to move back to the line. They're going to try and outbrake each other. They're coming up on lap traffic, and Rato has to give up the position.
A brilliant race, flawlessly put together by Jan Koemans for his 5th victory of the season.
As Hallinen weaves in celebration, he knows he's got it now. This is an excellent second place from the Finn, with Rato behind him.
It looks like Moriem was close to Tran on the final lap there in the battle for 5th, but he got the spot. Tran got the spot.
For 4 previous seasons, the field sizes have grown larger. For 4 previous seasons, the competition has grown tougher. For a handful of drivers, the Season 5 championship is there for the taking. For most everyone else, it will be as elusive to grasp as a feather in the breeze. This is the Blondies MX5 World Tour. Organized by the Quality Racing Syndicate.
Hello and welcome to round 10 of the Blondies MX5 World Tour, live on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Reiman, and alongside me in the booth is Ayrton Ellis. Down in the pits we have Richard Losper and Stefan Overgaard, and behind the scenes doing all the button pushing is Giancarlo Lenzi. So hello and welcome to Lime Rock Chicane. These drivers today are going to have to navigate this course 42 times, and that includes navigating their way through a very tricky chicane. Ylimäinen won here earlier in the season, but it's going to be tough for him to beat Jan Koeman's. Ayrton, we're watching the last closing minutes of practice here right now. How are things looking from your standpoint?
At the moment, Jan Koeman's with a blistering time of 1:03 is at the top of the leaderboard in practice results. A lot of fast and normal-looking drivers. One driver who I'm interested in that is missing is Guilherme Rato, who is not here today in this race.
Yeah, Rato, Tran, and also Arkadiusz Tederic's yet to show up here with just a few minutes left of practice to go. Anyhow, let's have a quick look at the championship standings, because after Koeman's took a win last weekend at Okayama, he has pulled away to a 65-point lead over Amjad Ylimäinen. The Doctor won here last time we were here, but he has yet to score a podium ever since his last taste at Victory Lane. Rato sits 73 points back, and now really João Freitas down there in 5th in the points. Not really looking like he's going to wrap his championship up now after a fairly rough race at Okayama. Anyhow, we're here at Lime Rock, and it's got a chicane, and it's a tricky course, so let's try and make sense of it with a lap around the track from Ayrton Ellis, narrated by Drove Peak.
Last time on the Blondies MX5 World Tour. Alright, we're going to take a lap around Lime Rock Park Chicane with Ayrton Ellis and the MX5 Cup. Coming up to turn 1, you're going to brake just after that 2 marker there and aim for the inside curb, and then let it drift a little bit wide, and then bring it back in for 2 because it's a double apexer. Clip that curb just barely again, get back on the gas and get as far right as you can for the only left-hander on the course. And when you exit this turn, you want to be as far left as possible, because on this right-hand kink you want to be flat to the floor, which leads you onto the no-name straight, which, as you can see, is not perfectly straight, but that's going to lead to the uphill, which with the chicane is going to be a curved braking zone, and you're going to clip these curves coming through the chicane there, carry as much speed as you can, and then coming up to 6, it's going to be flat out through here, but it's a little sketchy. You got to hit it just right. You can see Ayrton gets a little bit of a grass, and then downhill into 7, you want to get the right tires into that groove so that you can get through with just a barely bit of a lift. And that dumps you onto the front straightaway, where hopefully you got a good exit and can make a pass attempt into 1.
Nice smooth lap there by Ayrton Ellis. Unfortunately, smooth is a word that not a lot of drivers here can say their last race went. 16 incidents were reviewed at the end of the Okayama race last weekend. 7 drivers were assigned penalties. None of them, though, are mandatory stop-goes. 1 driver was banned, and all of the drivers are being held by a shorter leash by the Blondies MX5 World Tour officials. Anyhow, we're getting set for a couple of pre-race interviews coming up in a minute, but let's bring our friends Richard Losper and Stefan Overgaard into the discussion here. Richard, we didn't see you last week. How do you think this race and this championship are shaping out?
Well, Sam, I am thinking that it is time for João Freitas to feature at least on the podium, if not win a race. He is my sentimental favorite for tonight, and I certainly hope he does well. In fact, I hope that he wins the race. However, we know Jan Koeman will have a lot to say about that, and we have newcomer Richard Ekholm, who's currently in 2nd place in the leaderboard, on the leaderboard as far as practice is concerned. So no doubt they'll have something to say about it, but I really do want João Freitas to do well here. Back to you, Sam.
Yes, Freitas currently sitting 3rd on the board but in practice right now, which is wrapping up, just about a minute left, behind Jan Koeman and Richard Ekholm. We'll get to more of that in a minute. Let's bring in the 4th member of our commentary team, Stefan Overgaard. Stefan, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, and like Richard said, this track, there really is a lot of people having trouble having consistency here. So we might see a new winner here that hasn't won before in this season. That said, I still think that Jan Koeman, so even though he has seen a bit having trouble in this practice, I think he's still going to take the win.
Yeah, certainly. Well, one driver who is a former winner of the season, and as we mentioned before, won this race when we didn't have a chicane in it earlier this season, was Ylimäinen Ylimäinen, and I believe he is in the lobby, and we can bring him in for an interview here. Ylimäinen, can you hear me?
I don't believe Ylimäinen is in the booth right now. Yes, he is at this point in time. Go ahead, Sam.
Ylimäinen Ylimäinen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, well, we're back to the site of your last victory in the Blondies World Tour. Does that give you some extra motivation to perform well here today?
Definitely, since, this is a traffic race, there's a lot of traffic, so hopefully I can just keep it clean, let the others make mistakes, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, certainly. Qualifying beginning right now, so we won't keep you too long. We're sure you want to put a good time on the board. What kind of position are you aiming for on the grid?
Looks like if I can get a top 5, I'll be happy.
All right, well, we wish you the best. We know you got the victory from 8th place here earlier this season, so we'll let you hop back in your Miata, and we'll be rooting for you.
All right, thanks, Sam.
Well, that was Ylimäinen Ylimäinen, a 2-time winner of the Season 5 Blondies World Tour. So the drivers just beginning their qualifying here, and we've introduced most of our commentary crew. So we're going to go back to Ayrton, and Ayrton, I've got to ask, I know it's early, practice just wrapped up. Koeman's was fastest in practice, Eklund, Friede, Stranis and McAleer rounding out the top 5 there. Any surprises on the board as far as you can see?
Not too much. I think we have a lot of the usual leading drivers, Giorgianis, Jalfredis, Richard, Jan Koemans. Those guys are always very fast and up there in practice. I know Giorgianis has really struggled with qualifying this season. Always up there in practice, but when it came to qualifying, he just couldn't get a lap down. So I think if he can start up there in the top 5, he'll be able to stay with the lead group for the majority of the race. Now, I'm looking a little farther back as well, and 2 drivers that I haven't seen in this series, I think this will be their first race, Yannick Kemp and Jake Tucker. These guys are scored in 8th and 9th place in the practice standings, and they look very fast and speedy for this race.
Yeah, certainly. Going back to Giannis, he has 5 top 10 finishes this season. But the last one of those was back at Road Atlanta a few races ago right now. We do have Marcus Lambert in the lobby, but he right now is out there on the circuit putting on a qualifying lap. Qualifying, he's done pretty well. Let's see, he's gotten 3 top 10 qualifying positions this season. So let's see if Lambert can get up front there. He got 7th place when they were here earlier this season. The Blondies MX5 World Tour has had 3 races at Lime Rock Chicane before, and Koeman's won one of them. Not too much of a surprise there, and Tederic's won one. But like I say, it doesn't look like he's here today, which is unfortunate because he is in the he has attended more than 50 Blondies races now.
Yeah, and I'm just having a look at the essay qualifying. A couple of names, as Ayrton mentioned, Yannick Kemp and Jake Tucker currently running in 15th place for Yannick, and Jake at 12th place. There are a couple of other names as well. Trevor Mack is one we haven't seen too many times in this series, and Andy Morgan as well is another name that I have not seen running around in this series a lot. However, back at the top, we've got Jan Koemans, who's put in the fastest lap. João Freitas, my sentimental favorite, is currently in 2nd place in the qualifying standings. So hopefully that carries on for him, Sam.
Yeah, and third right now in qualifying is Sam McAleer. Let's get the camera on him, the number 16 car, because it's a bit of a different paint job you see on his car today. More like some kind of gold, tan, maybe even you want to call it a Blondies colour in that number 16 car going through the chicane right now and off, so this won't be an improvement on his qualifying time, unfortunately. Koeman's 1 minute 0.4 is currently the fastest qualifying time. No one was even able to match that in practice except for him, so it looks like Jan will be our pole sitter unless one of the other drivers can really pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fast guys that can, as long as they get a clean lap and maybe some good draft, they can get a nice lap in. Now, Richard mentioned Trevor Mack before, and his first race in this series was at Okayama last week. He managed a 7th place finish after starting in 13th place, which was very good, and his pit strategy was what got him in the top 10. So I think pit strategy is going to be one big issue in this race, especially adding on to the fact of traffic on such a short course as well, and the chicane will not help any more of that.
Yeah, Marcus Lambert has put on a qualifying time, and he's not in his car right now, so we're gonna see if we can get an interview with him. He finished as 7th here early in the season. He qualified 5th, currently positioned 7th there on the qualifying board. Marcus, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got a copy on you.
A 1 minute 01.619. That's your time on the board right now. Do you think you can go faster?
I'm gonna have to say no. That's the fastest lap that I've turned all week. I just can't seem to grasp this track. I qualified top 5 when we came here without the chicane, but the chicane just throws me for a wrong turn, and I don't like it.
Does the chicane alter your approach from this race? I mean, how are you going to go about getting through there on lap 1? You think you're going to be conservative, or do you think you're going to have to really push it and try and keep up with the other cars?
I'm just looking to keep the car on the track this race. Obviously it's going to depend on the situation. You know, if I have a bunch of people in front of me, I may back off a little bit to prevent myself from getting in any wrecks. If I have a bunch of people behind me, I may go a little bit faster to make sure I don't get run over. So it'll all depend on just what happens going into that corner on lap 1.
Alright, well, we wish you the best. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Anyone you'd like to thank before the race gets started?
Just gotta thank you guys at GSRC for putting in all the work for broadcasting, Soup for organizing everything, and of course you gotta thank the sponsors, Blondies, for sponsoring the series.
Yes, certainly. Well, we wish you all the best, Marcus, and have a good race.
Thank you.
I should be knocking on wood for him now. Alright, well, we're almost 7 minutes through qualifying. Koemans and Freitas currently have the front row. Shall we start making picks for who we think is going to be victorious here today? Evan?
I think I'll have to root for... one of the surprising guys, Giancarlo. I think he has some very good pace here. His consistency in practice, he did quite a few long runs, and that's definitely going to help. And I think he's going to be one of those drivers that just works on staying out of trouble, while Jan Koeman, Jeff Freitas, Richard Ekholm, those guys will be fighting for the lead like crazy. So one of those back markers, Jari Ylimäinen, Yaman, Sam McAleer, like those guys right after the front pack will, I think, will have a chance at podium today.
Alright, well, we have another driver in our lobby waiting to be interviewed, and that is the owner of this series, the organizer, Bill Zahn. And, Bill, can you hear me?
I got you. You got me?
Yes, sir, I have. Will we see you racing out there on the track today?
I will be having a nice Saturday drive in the back. But for us traditional back markers, this is a pretty good track for us because it's so unforgiving that due to attrition, we, Lowell, Jewel, and I, and Hiro Kananya, and we'll see maybe a top 15 if things go horribly for everyone else.
Well, I'm not sure whether I should be wishing that on you or not. let's see, we're 10 races through the season now after this race. How do you feel that this season of the Blondies MX5 World Tour has gone compared to the former 4 series?
Oh, you know, first of all, you guys at Global Sim Racing Channel, you guys are outstanding. That's helped a lot. And a shout out to Blondies. Everybody, make sure you tip your bartender. I think this has been our best series ever. You guys have done a great job, and I think we've given you a pretty good product to cover. And Jan Koemans, this is his best season ever. With the competition stiffer than ever, he's unstoppable.
Yes, certainly. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch former 4 series, but one driver who was a competitor in a lot of them is probably one of your old friends, Ayrton Ellis. Would you like to speak to him?
Who's?
Ayrton Ellis.
One more time?
Ayrton Ellis.
Oh, sure. I love Ayrton.
Well, Bill, just like a question about this track. We know that, like, you are obviously a part of the iRT instant review team, and this track has been known for breeding. It's had a few races where it's bred quite a lot of wrecks, and other ones where the consistency and carefulness of the drivers was very good. So what do you think this race is going to be like with such the competitiveness in the field?
You know, I think it depends on where you are. As far as a back marker goes, this is one of the easier tracks to get out of the way on. You can lift down the main straight, you can go wide in turn 1, you can lift going up the hill, you can lift after the chicane, you can lift in the last corner. I mean, you can go wide in the last corner. So as far as us in the back being lapped, I don't think it's that big a deal. Now, passing, that's a different story, and I think that's where the problem's going to come in. Not from the back markers. I really think it's going to be this aggressive fighting for position. And the chicane is the chicane.
Right. Well, hopefully you'll have a good race, and hopefully there are not too many huge wrecks, and you can get a little break on the iRT team.
Yeah, last week was tough. I think this week, I think we're looking at something good. Are you doing the broadcast today, man?
Oh, yes.
Outstanding. Always look forward to hearing from you.
Well, thank you, and we'll hand it back to Sam now.
All right, well, thank you very much for speaking to us, Bill. We wish you all the best today, but mainly we just hope that we have a great race here today, and we look forward to all the future races to come, too. All right, Bill's already gone to get himself set up. Only 3 minutes of qualifying left now. And before we started the interview with Bill, Richard Ekholm had yet to set on the qualifying lap. He finally has, and it has put him second on the grid. And Merton, I'm thinking back to Road Atlanta, where Richard Ekholm was up there running in the top 4, but it got caught up in an incident with a lap car.
Yeah, I know Richard pretty personally in iRacing races, and he hangs out with Sam McAleer quite a lot, and very fast. He's one of those drivers who always competing for the world record times in the Mazda Cup, and always competing for those top times. So I think he's going to make Koemans have to look behind his heels this time. Yeah, definitely one of the faster drivers, and he has Freitas right behind him as well, who seems to not be at his best speed for this qualifying session.
And let's go 2 spots back to Trevor Mack in 5th. Richard touched on him earlier, one of the newer drivers to the series. He got a 7th place at his first ever race in the Blondies series last week at Okayama. Richard, have you been watching Trevor or any of the other drivers out there doing qualifying?
Yes, I have. Trevor Mack is surprising me a little bit, simply because I don't know too much about him. He's one of the 5 drivers at the moment, Sam, that have got into the 1 minute time, or under 1 minute and 1 second. So you've got Jan Koemans with a 1 minute .408, and Richard Ekholm close behind. João Freitas, my sentimental favorite, and I'm going to be hammering that home tonight. I'm hoping that he will do well. Jari Ylimäinen is up there. Trevor Mack, now just dropped down to 6th place, faster than MWTS Ylimäinen and Benjamin Lanouette. So, Sam, I think that he's going to have a good race. Ayrton mentioned Richard Ekholm, and certainly he's running second on the leaderboard. So, look, it's going to be a tough race. I'm picking João Freitas to win this one if he has a good race, which and he keeps out of trouble. That's the main thing that has haunted poor old João in almost every single race he's had incidents. So João Freitas is my pick, Sam.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the board here. Jari Ylimäinen currently sitting 7th on the grid. He was under the 1 minute ones in practice, but has yet to break that barrier in qualifying. Another driver, which Stefan just pointed out to me, Yannick Kemp, down there a 102.9 in qualifying, has him 22nd on the grid. And he was much higher in practice. Stefan, have you been watching him at all? Is there a turn that he's struggling with or something?
No, I haven't looked at him. Kemp is a newcomer to this series, so I don't have much information about him. So I don't know. Maybe Kemp just wants to take it easy and not be up front here in his first race.
That's certainly an interesting strategy. I know, Stefan, you're one of the front runners in the other series that the GSRC covers, the Continental Endurance Sport Car Series, which I believe are at Watkins Glen later today. How do you feel from the drivers that you know that how do you feel they're going to go along well with this Lime Rock chicane course here?
Well, I only have knowledge or personal experience with some of the drivers. For instance, I've never driven against Koemans and Ekholm, so haven't felt how they do with the close traffic and so on. But I still think that Koemans can go in and take the win this time, even though he has seemed to be a bit struggling during the practice and qualifying.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Stefan. We look forward to your input during this race. Qualifying finishing right now. And let's have a quick run through of the top 10. Koemans is on the pole, lined up alongside him will be Richard Ekholm. Freitas and McAleer will be starting 3rd and 4th, and Janis and Mack will be rounding out row 3.
Jari Ylimäinen will be starting 7th with Benjamin Lanouette right behind him. Eric Garcia in 9th, Marcus Lambert in 10th, Mihai Mesesen in 11th, and Luis Baboni in 12th.
Yes, and we have Michael Gustafsson in 13th and Thomas Ratchtree, a bit of a poor qualifying there from him, in 14th. Drake Tucker and Matthias Oini and Jonathan Keir in the Roadster lined up alongside Stefan Morian all the way down in 18th place.
Joseph Arrows in 19th with Ben Tucker right alongside him, Simon Ayres behind him, and then Yannick Kemp with a surprising 22nd place qualifying. David Schaefer's right behind him, then Andy Morgan, Bill Zan, Hiro Kanaya, and Oscar Nieto to qualify at the end of the grid in 27th place.
Yeah, it's also telling us Lau Jewel may be starting from last place. We have about a minute left here, I think, until the green flag comes out. So, we've been talking about Freitas, we've been talking about Koemans, we've been talking about Ekholm. Ayrton, who's your pick for the win? Oh, wait a minute, they're getting revved up here. We'll find out very soon. Here they are, the lights are off and away they go. And Koemans has got off to a good start. Hopefully we won't see too much side-by-side racing through the first corner, because it's a very tricky one to get through. The first 3 are single file, and then they're side-by-side for 4th.
Trevor Mack gained very loose gain, almost touching the dirt on the exit of turn 1. I would have sent him back pretty far, but he seemed to maintain the position.
Yes, Ekholm catching up a bit with Koemans here, and now, of course, they're going to come into this right-hander at the end of a straight and then through this tricky chicane. Going to be very interesting, because even if you get through it, well, you may have to have a slow down penalty if you run off.
That's right, guys, and we've got kind of 2 packs starting to form at the moment. Right at the top, we have Jan Koemans, followed closely by Richard Ekholm. And just watching João Freitas, who just put some wheels off in the grass. Already there's a car slowing down and heading possibly into the pits. Yeah, it's going to be a race of attrition, this one. That chicane's going to make a big difference, Sam.
It's Mihai Messerson. He's not going into the pits. He's getting a slowdown penalty. And right now he has nowhere to get in line as they head into turn 1.
And Richard Ekholm was a poor victim of the first lap in the chicane. He got a slowdown penalty, dropping down to 8th place behind Benjamin Lanouette.
And there was a collision in turn 1, very minor. Simon Earso was involved in it, went off track for a little bit. Koemans has been off, he's been given a slowdown penalty. Freitas may take a lead as they go into the right turn here. No, Koemans has served his penalty, but Freitas was right on his rear bumper. Where's Ekholm gone? He must have had an off. He's down in 8th. Freitas looks to the outside. João Freitas is going to lead lap 2 of this race.
That's right, and Jan Koemans has now regained his pace. He's now following very closely behind João. It's going to be a race between these two right at the top of the field. 3rd place is currently Jari Ylimäinen, but they're quite a ways back, Sam.
Yes, Ekholm, I mentioned that he was back in 8th position. He's now made his way back up into 7th. He had a slowdown penalty, I assume, from going off at the chicane. Also, another notable early on here, Marcus Lambert started from pit road.
And I'm keeping an eye at the moment on MWTS. I must say, Sam, just a quick mention, a lot of the paints have changed, so it's a little bit confusing for us here at GSRC because all of a sudden the paint schemes we're used to seeing have changed. But anyway, MWTS with his green and white car now sitting in a 4th place on the leaderboard. So anybody's race at this point in time, Sam?
And who's that going down into the pits right there? It's Richard Ekholm. He ran wide on the final turn, taking an early stop. He is not going to be able to make it to the end of this race. Could he be serving a voluntary pass-through?
No, he's stopping in his pit stall, so I'm not sure if he's doing an early pit stop or a stop and go.
Yeah, right
it
now.
Just seems to be in the pits straight away as we have another driver coming into the pits. Let's see who this is. Can't make out the number at this point in time, so I can't call it at this point in time. Sorry, Sam.
McAleer gets off at the end of a chicane from 5th position, hard into the outside wall. That's going to hurt his handling of his car. We've got a 3-way pack for the lead. Freitas, Koemans, and Giannis is up into 3rd. We hadn't even mentioned him. And Sam McAleer has no control as he goes down into the final corner. He's going to have to try and bring that to pits. It looks like he's going to be able to do that.
Tom Ratchie, after starting in 14th place, is now up to 7th place after taking the position from Sam McAleer as he goes into the pits.
Yeah, it looks that was Yannick Kemp that went into the pits previously. He's come out of the pits now just in front of the leader of this race at this point in time, which is João Freitas. He's closely followed by Jan Koemans. Sam?
Yes, and remember Giannis, never count him out. He got a win earlier this season, a win that he wasn't too pleased by. It was basically a fuel mileage victory at Charlotte, and boy, my heart stops a minute every time they go through the chicane, and it's Giannis who gets it wrong this time, and that may cost him 3rd position to the doctor. And you know, it's it pretty much every time they go through that chicane, one of our leaders is making a mistake.
And that's why
I've just got a message from our director. We've got Oscar Nieto, who started last place. He's up to 15th place at this point in time, Sam.
Wasn't Bill telling us that this was a hard place to pass? Anyhow, Ayrton, you had a message.
Yeah, the consistency is going to be the main key for this race. The driver who can get through that chicane spot on every time, or at least carefully every time, will be able to survive this race and be looking at the win of this race.
Yeah, Michael Gustafsson up into 10th place. I'm not quite sure where he started. He's a name we don't always mention. I haven't got a record here saying if he's finished in the top 10 earlier this series. They're going through the chicane again. keep you reported if any of them go off. I think the lap car in front of him goes off, but he stays to the side and allows the leaders to go by nicely.
Well, it's João Freitas and Jan Koolmans at the front of the pack. Our good friend, the Dr. MWTS, currently in 3rd place, followed by Giannis. Trevor Mack, whom we have mentioned a couple of times, is up to 5th place. Tom Rathy in 6th place. And it's a tight battle up the front there, Sam, for 1st place.
Well, it's even tighter from 7th on back. I think there's like a 10-car pack here. And he's going to lose a position. He is down into 6th, and he's going to reform right in front of a Benjamin Lanouette-led pack. So that pack's going to get even larger now.
Yeah, Giannis got a slowdown penalty from the chicane earlier on. He's in the grass again. I think he may have a little bit of damage to his car as well, because he seems to be going off all over the place.
Yeah, one drop. And Koolmans has got a slowdown penalty. He's given up even more spots now. But it wasn't his fault. Freitas basically went off at the chicane, and Koolmans had to go in. Koolmans had to go into the grass to stop from running back into Freitas, and that has cost him 2 spots because he's getting a slowdown for that shortcut. You see the end of the replay right there where Koolmans was going slow. So right now, that moves Ylimäinen up into 2nd and Trevor Mack up into 3rd.
Excellent stuff. My sentimental favorite that I said I would plug all race long, João Freitas leading at the moment, followed by MWTS. So Jan Koolmans has a lot of work to do to make it back to the front now, Sam.
Yeah, I'm trying to give an award here to someone who's moved up the most spots. I guess that would have to be Oscar Nieto, but Drake Tucker in 8th, I believe he started 15th place. But how many times have we seen this before? Freitas leading early, and a strategy error or a mistake costs him positions later in the race. So, unfortunately, we can't give him the win just yet. Koolmans has taken 3rd from Trevor Mack.
Yeah, Trevor Mack just went off from the exit of the chicane. A lot of there's so many ways to mess up the chicane. You can cut the course, skim the grass like McAleer did, and even going too wide through it will just be terrible.
And speaking of Sam McAleer, he just resigned from the race.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. It looks like Ylimäinen has taken a very wide line through turns 1 and 2. I know he's a doctor, I know he's won here before, I know we can't doubt what he's done, but if he goes much wider, he's going to be out there in the grass. And once you get a couple of wheels out in the grass here, it's nip and tuck, but sometimes there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a battle with Jake Tucker and Benjamin Lanouette with Mikkel Gustafsson, one of the Roadster drivers, right behind.
Yeah, this is a battle for 7th, and then there's 7 more cars going back into 10th position. These drivers, a bit of a slower pace than the leaders, are being more conservative with that chicane. It doesn't look like they're going off as much.
And
well, it's all happening here, as they say, guys. The leaderboard is completely turned around. Normally, we're used to seeing Jan Koolmans right up the front. At the moment, it's João Freitas. I'm loving that. MWTS, the doctor, in 2nd place. I'm loving that as well. And Jan Koolmans in 3rd place at the moment, having to battle his way to the front. We know that Jan Koolmans virtually has won every race he's contested by 1. And we're hoping, well, we think he will probably get to the front again, but I am certainly hoping that he doesn't do it tonight, Sam.
Oh, and he has to stop his car because he went off at the chicane and was pointing dead towards the wall. That's going to cost him 3rd place to Trevor Mack.
Excellent stuff, may I say. Not that I have anything against Jan Koolmans. I will be the first to say I take my hat off to the fastest MX-5 driver possibly in the history of iRacing, but I'm loving the fact that he's having some competition tonight. Ayrton?
Yeah, it looks like he was one of the drivers who just skimmed the track quite a little bit too much on the exit of the chicane, and that cost him a lot of time. Tom Ratchie is right behind him now.
Tom Ratchie started 14th and is up to 5th, so he's done quite a good job at keeping his car clean, which is saying something for him. he is not always known as being one of the most consistent drivers. He has 5 top 10s this season, but he sits outside the top 10 in points just because he is prone to having bad races at times.
Well, I have to say, you know, Ayrton alluded to this previously when they were qualifying, but if you have a look at Benjamin Lanouette, who currently sits in 7th place, this guy is just quietly going about his business and moving up the leaderboard there, Sam.
Yeah, I was watching this big pack. Oscar Nieto is now up into 11th, and there was one drive off aside there. That's Kemp giving the leaders in front of him, the leaders behind him, giving them, you know, staying out their way in the lap. But it was David Schaefer you just saw coming out of the pits. So yeah, Oscar Nieto started at the back, already up to 11th. Let's look at Marcus Lambert as well. He started from the pits. He's only up to 18th.
Yeah, I'm just having a good look at the times here now, Sam. João Freitas is currently leading the race. We have Amjad Yaman about a second behind him. Then there's almost 5 seconds to 3rd place, and Jan Koolmans is 6 seconds back, more than 6 seconds back. So this is going to be interesting. We are on lap 12 out of 42, so about a third of the race, well, just slightly less than a third of the race completed. So still a long way to go, but my favorite, and I hope I'm not going to jinx him, is in the lead. Ayrton?
And as you're saying that, Amjad Yaman consistently running faster than João Freitas in the lead, and is now right on his bumper, 2/10 behind. And this is looking just like the first race of the season when these two guys were battling for the lead all race long. And I'm wondering if Amjad Yaman will be able to do his little trick again and jumping in the pits, as pit stops may come up pretty shortly. We're about 13 laps in on 42.
What do you think that was on the front stretch, Everton? Do you think that was a, hey, I'm looking for the lead, or do you think it was a, hey, Freitas, I'm here, if you get scared, I may win this race?
I'm not sure. I know Amjad is a very consistent and clean driver. He won't make a move that he knows he won't be able to make, so he might just be smart and run behind Freitas for the majority of the race, knowing that he may be faster. At the moment, I think he should be trying to pull away from the Jan Koolmans, who's only 5 seconds behind, and I'm pretty sure both drivers know that he will be up there pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm still watching Lanouette. I mean, you could call the couple of cars behind him a Trilly train, but really, I mean, he is doing an excellent job of keeping his car in control and in front of the other cars behind him. We're going to keep a camera on the leaders, I think, because that battle could change any second. But Lanouette currently sitting 11th in the points. He did not have a single top 10 in about the first 5 races this year, and in the last 4 races he has had 3 top 10s, so he has certainly came alive late into the season.
Another driver that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment is Tom Rathie. Now, Tom Rathie has not had a lot of good results, but tonight he's up to 5th place, which is probably better than he's been for some time. Jan Koolmans unusually down in 4th place, almost 5 seconds behind the lead. It's interesting that he has not made up a lot of time on the leaders there, Ayrton. That's saying something for this track.
He just passed Trevor Mack now. He's now 4.5 seconds behind. He's running pretty consistently at the moment, running pretty fast. I think Amjad Yaman and João Freitas are not running as fast as they can because they're
We have a car off.
I think that's David Schaefer, lap car, but we have had cars off before him. Trevor Mack, the reason Koolmans is in 3rd is because Mack has gone off, and unfortunately Oscar Nieto, we should have been knocking on wood for him the whole time. He was up to 11th, he ran off, he fell to 16th, he's now back up to 15th, and Yaman is attempting moves on Freitas. He actually tapped the back of Freitas as they came through the chicane last lap.
Ah, that's interesting. So he's trying to make a move early, and mind you, he's not far behind. He's just on the bumper of João Freitas. I've got to tell you, if you look, I've got a camera trained on that chicane. It is amazing how they go through that chicane. They basically on 2 wheels going through there, Ayrton.
Yeah, some drivers even going 4 wheels if they take enough curb. Very dangerous corner and easy to lose grip of the car. As I mentioned before, Mikkel Gustafsson up in 9th, and he's one of the few Roadster drivers in the series. And knowing from experience, the Roadster is actually very much more able to drive that chicane safely than the Cup car. The Cup car is very squirrely, and some of the Roadster drivers are doing pretty well in this race due to that.
Pit stops have started. Marcus Lambert was one of the drivers who came in. I'm just watching the two leaders going through the chicane again. No serious moves this time. Who else has been down pit road, Stefan?
Well, not so far many yet. We have Ben Tucker in there, but I think that's a bit more than just a regular pit stop.
Yeah, so he had a lot of damage earlier, and Freitas is going defensive. I don't think Yarmin is going to look to the outside here in turn 1. I don't think that's going to work. Now, we saw Yarmin running really wide in turn 1 earlier. He doesn't do that this time, thank goodness, because that may end his race. But as they battle, Koemans is actually closing in on them a little bit.
Yeah, and these two are coming up to some lap traffic at the moment, so that's going to play a part as well. We've got Freitas and Yarmin both, you know, virtually bumper to bumper, and they're coming up on 2 cars right in front of them at the moment, and another car further forward there. So this is going to play a part there, Ayrton.
Yeah, those 2 cars in front are Hiro Kanaya and Andy Morgan battling for the 21st position.
And Yarmin gets loose.
He may get a slowdown penalty once again. I hope not.
Yeah, Yarmin lost a lot of time there. Koemans now right on his rear bumper and runs wide there a little bit, so Yarmin may be saved. That wasn't the lap traffic's fault at all. Yarmin just messed up the chicane.
Yes, and he's caught up to the 2 leaders now. The lap traffic obviously has played a part in slowing these 2 down, and also a few tiny mistakes that they've made. But Jan Koemans closing in. That's a dangerous sign, Ayrton.
Yeah, and if you've actually noticed, Freitas is actually one of the few drivers who have not made a huge mistake in this race. He's just been driving along. I think he's really under-driving the car and not driving it too hard, while all these other guys are trying to get back on his bumper and just making mistakes.
That's why he's leading. Yarmin gets by one of the lap cars, goes through the chicane. Let's see if Hiro Kanaya pulls over for him. We don't always talk a lot about Hiro, but he is eligible. He is one of the top contenders for the Ironman of this series, completing a lot of laps. Currently, the Ironman is Stefan Morian, who sits in 11th place right now, which is relatively low down the order for him.
Yes, and Freitas seems to have pulled out a 2.5 second lead now on Amjad Yaman, with Jan Koemans closing in on Amjad. Just looking a little further back, we've got Trevor Mack in 4th place and Tom Rathy behind him. These guys are a little way back. We'll see what happens as they start the pit stop sessions very, very soon, I would imagine. Ayrton, sorry. We just got a message that Richard Eklund has just finished a pit stop, 30 seconds. So if that's the average pit stop, then it is going to be a longish pit stop for everybody. But I'm hearing Sam. Go ahead, Sam. You've got some information.
Freitas went off at the chicane. Amjad Yarmin is your new leader at the Blondies MX5 World Tour at Lime Rock Chicane.
Well, and look who's looming in his mirrors. In fact, trying an attempt on passing him at this point in time, Jan Koemans on João Freitas, with Amjad Yaman now a second or 2 in front of them, Sam.
Yeah, we spoke too soon. Freitas, and this is a longer, lengthy replay that was just being played there, has now fallen to second by Yarmin, just holding on to that position in front of Koemans. And by the way, we're not even halfway.
Yeah, we still have 22 laps to go in this race at Lime Rock Chicane, and consistency is definitely proving to be a factor in this race. Amjad Yaman leading João Freitas in 2nd, Jan Koemans in 3rd, Trevor Mack in 4th, and Tom Ratchie is in 5th place.
Thank you, Giancarlo, so much for that camera view. He just had the bumper cam from Freitas on Koemans going through the chicane. Koemans had all 4 wheels up in the air.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to before. It's a great view that you have of these guys. So MZ Ylimäinen, a nice little break on Freitas at the moment, but he is coming up to some lap traffic, which may play a part in slowing him down. Then we've got Freitas and Koolmans now. I'm not sure, Ayrton, from a technical viewpoint, there seem to be a few mistakes creeping into a lot of the drivers. Do you think that might be tyres that are just wearing down a bit just before they go into their pit stops?
Not quite. I think it's just all psychological. Drivers are just driving the chicane. The chicane is a very difficult corner, one of the most difficult corners I've ever driven on the iRacing surface, and very difficult for these drivers to get consistent and be safe around that corner. So I think some drivers are just making small mistakes.
We've had a lot of drivers coming into the pits.
MZ goes wide. MZ goes really wide on exit from the last turn, and that gives the opportunity to Freitas to catch up a little bit. And of course, right behind him, Jan Koolmans as well, Sam.
We've had a couple drivers coming into the pits. Ratri has gone off track, and I'm being told he was knocked off there by Josefero. That's not the way Ratri, and he was stopped in the middle of a track there, so he got a tow to the pits. That is not the way he wanted his race to go. Sitting 12th in the points, and like I say, he's fast. It's just consistency is, you know.
And Freitas, I believe, has just gone into the pits. I'm keeping an eye on Freitas as Jan Koolmans follows him into the pits as well. So now we have all the pit stops taking place, Sam.
Yeah, Stefan Morian also in. It's going to be interesting seeing the times of their stops. Can Koolmans get a faster stop than Freitas? If he can, he may be able to leapfrog him. By the way, that camera view I was referring to earlier, that was Kevin Lemberg, I believe, who was directing the cameras at the time, so thanks to him.
Freitas leaves the pits, and now Jan Koolmans leaves the pits. I think Jan Koolmans had a faster pit stop than Freitas, but Freitas comes out in front of him, Sam. Okay, It looks... My apologies, folks. It looks like I have been talking about completely the wrong drivers. I apologize. Back to you, Sam.
Yeah, Tom Ratri is currently in the pit serving damage from his incident with Josefero. Janis has had the pit stop. Stefan Morian, Oscar Nieto, Richard Ekland has had damage today. Marcus Lambert had a quick stop when he came in. Mihai Messerson has also pit. Lowell Jewell is in the pits. Kemp, Schaefer, Tucker have also made stops. Sam McClare and Bill Zahn are out of the race.
Okay, I think I will have to resign as the pit reporter because obviously I didn't get it right. Now, am I correct in saying Jan Koolmans is coming into the pits at this point in time? Sam?
Yes, sir, it is, and he got the wrong pit stall. That's going to cost him time. He almost tried to pull into the first pit stall. Now he's found the correct stall. So let's see what side wheels come up. Hopefully he's not planning on changing the right tyres because he's parked right up next to the wall, and that'll cost him time if that's the case. Anyhow, let's see. Is he going to come down off of jacks now? It's a long stop, guys. 13.3 seconds.
He leaves the pits at this point in time, and he's coming out on the leaderboard. Not quite sure, but it should be around 4th or 5th place.
8th place. He is in 8th place, and that is behind... Well, I mean, he's top of the drivers who have made stops so far, I believe.
Freitas was right on the bumper of Amjad Ylimäinen going to the chicane and actually made a mistake while braking in order not to hit Ylimäinen, so he's fallen back a little bit.
Keeping you up.
We still, the leaderboard now is MZ Ylimäinen is still leading now, and Freitas is fairly close behind him. Trevor Maxam is now into 3rd place, unless I'm very much mistaken.
You are not. He is in 3rd, but he was in 4th before the stop started. Whoa, a couple of lap cars slowing down on the front stretch. A couple of leaders almost ran into the back of them. No harm, no foul, however. We may want to note that Ben Tucker and Thomas Ratri are out of the race, and Richard Ekland, who had an incident earlier, currently down in 22nd place.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Richard Ekland, a couple of races that he's contended, he hasn't done too well. The first one, I think it was at Road Atlanta, he had an unfortunate incident with a lapped car. And obviously tonight he's had another incident which has put him way back in the pack, Ayrton.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm interested to see when these guys are going to pit. Amjad Ylimäinen, João Freitas, Trevor Mack. The three. Actually, Trevor Mack has just came into the pits. I want to let's see what he takes and if he can jump Koemans.
I doubt that. The number 57 car down pit road, though, and obviously Koeman's plan here is going to be the jump Ylimäinen and Freitas. Especially, Ylimäinen's got a lot of pressure as far as these two are concerned right here. If he makes a mistake, Freitas is going to get held up too. Anyhow, watching Max pit stop, it's a long one, 16.7 seconds. That's not going to be enough to jump Koeman's.
In fact, Koemans just went around the first corner. Trevor Mack did the same as Koemans, took just left side tires, which is interesting. This corner is a majority right-hand turn, so the left tires take a lot, as Amjad Ylimäinen is now coming into pits as he's exiting the final corner.
Yes, sir, he is, and Freitas is going to follow. Now, this is going to be interesting because we got two battles here. We got the battle of who gets out of the pits first and does either of them beat Koemans. Now, historically, Ylimäinen has been the quicker pitter, and unfortunately, don't know what happened to Yannick Kemp, but he just retired from the race. Historically, Ylimäinen has been quicker than Freitas at pitting. Ylimäinen came in before Freitas, so we would expect him to leave before Freitas. It's the same time as Koeman stopped, 13.3 seconds. Freitas jumps him, though.
Freitas came out in front of Ylimäinen. And just tell me where Jan Koemans is at this point. Has he passed them?
He's 2 cars behind. He has not passed them. There is a lap car of Erik Garcia. Actually, Erik Garcia is in 4th position right now because he hasn't made his stop yet. Koeman's going down the inside of Garcia. Now he's right on the rear bumper of Freitas and Ylimäinen. And this is excellent for João Freitas.
Yes, so we've got the order virtually back that we had at the beginning of the race after Jan Koemans lost his first place, with João Freitas leading, Amjad Ylimäinen behind him. So we are now on lap 27 of 42, so there are 15 laps to go. Plenty of time for Jan Koemans to make a move on these two, Ayrton.
The only thing is that Freitas is not actually leading, Richard. The leader right now is Michael Gustafsson, who stays out for another lap. He wants to put his name on that leaderboard, Ayrton.
I believe this is the first time this season that a roadster, only 4 roadsters in this series, will be leading the race. And the roadster's definitely proven to be very fast on this track, and Michael Gustafsson is doing a great job in showing that.
Yes, I guess we should have given Michael Gustafsson his kudos for leading a few laps. But as he's not pitted yet properly, that's not going to last very long, Sam.
No, unfortunately not. But it gets his sponsors out the front there. Let's see. We got Trevor Mackers behind him in 5th right now. Erik Garcia has either made a mistake or gone into the pits because he's fallen all the way down to the 10th right now.
I'm going to keep my eye very firmly on João Freitas, my sentimental favorite for tonight. So far, he's doing everything right. He's had a good pit stop. He's keeping control of the car through that really nasty chicane. And he's in front of Jan Koemans, Ayrton.
Yep, and it looks like Michael Gustafsson still out, and he's right in front of the leader, second place, João Freitas. And I'm wondering if he'll hold him up or just let him by as they're coming through the first corner. João having to tap the brakes a little bit not to hit his rear bumper.
Meanwhile, behind them, Soini actually held up Amjad Ylimäinen a little bit, causing Koemans to close in on him. We can get the top 4 in one camera shot right here. The distance between all of them is 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be a torrid finish, I believe. I just wish that Michael Gustafsson would give way to these 4. Not that he should, because he's actually leading the race at this point in time. But he has to pit very, very soon, I would imagine. And then it's going to be up to these 3, João Freitas, Amjad Ylimäinen, and Jan Koemans, to see who grabs the win tonight. Ayrton?
Yeah, as Michael Gustafsson not shooting into the pits, just pulling over to the side to let these leaders by. So João Freitas now inherits the lead of this race, and Koeman's looking on the inside of Amjad Ylimäinen.
And takes it easily.
I wasn't so sure about that, Richard. It looked like Ylimäinen would be able to cross over at the second apex of the first corner, but that wasn't the case. So Koeman goes by, Ylimäinen says, "What's up, Doc?" and leaves the building, and Freitas now able to extend a bit of a lead on them.
Yes, and it's about a 1 second lead just looking at it visually, but here comes Koeman.
How many laps we got left to go? 12 to go when they cross the line, so 12 more times they're going to have to navigate their chicane. Oh boy, who's your money on right now, Ayrton?
I think I'm going to be rooting for Ylimäinen. I think his consistency is going to get him into the lead for this race.
No, I'm still rooting for Freitas. As Ylimäinen makes a move on Koeman, but he has a look and doesn't go on with it because Koeman has him well covered there. Sam?
I have a feeling the IRT are going to have a look at Michael Gustafsson's ethanol-powered rocket fuel or whatever he's got in that car. He is still out there after 30 laps. Only 12 laps left to go. Let's see, Trevor Mack is closing in behind it. Well, actually, several seconds back. He's in 5th. Janis is 6th. Marcus Lambert, after starting from the pits and making an early stop, got him through the traffic. He's up in 7th. Then Jake Tucker, Benjamin Lanouette, and Eric Garcia round out the top 10.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got Jake Tucker, Marcus Lambert in 7th and 8th place. We haven't seen too much of these guys. They've been just quietly going about their business. Trevor Mack has pleasantly surprised me. He's up to 5th place. So it's shaking out. The top 10 is shaking out pretty much as we expected. But the action's all at the front, Sam.
It is all up at the front. Ayrton, you're a much better driver than I am. If you're Koeman, where do you make your move?
Turn 1. I've seen Koeman. He has great speed coming out of the final corner, and if he can get alongside João Freitas, turn 1 will be the best passing zone.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Ayrton there. You'd have to get a really good exit out of the last turn and then really challenge probably on the inside at turn 1.
Well, we've got 2 turns left to go this lap to see if that's what he does. He's right on Freitas' rear bumper. Here they come through the final turn, clip that apex nicely. They've got about the same pace, but that's not good for Freitas because Koeman says the slipstream, but Freitas says, if you're going to go by me, Koeman, you're going to have to go on the outside. Koeman says, all right, I think I can make this work. He's going to get laid on the brakes and Freitas. They're side by side. Ylimäinen waiting for one of them to make a mistake, and it's Koeman who does it. Ylimäinen looks down the inside into 2nd, but the only left hand on the circuit is coming up next. And Koeman is going to pull back out in front. No change in order yet, unless Ylimäinen can cross over. No. So it remains Freitas, Koeman, Ylimäinen, and actually Freitas has been able to pull away a bit.
Yes, that was
Michael Gustafsson has just.
That was a very good attempt there by Ylimäinen to take 2nd place. I noticed that Koeman had quite a few slides, but he managed to hold on to that place. So we'll see it all happen again on the next lap, Sam.
Ayrton, I think Trevor Mack is going to win this race.
Well, you want in the leaders to wreck?
I don't want them to wreck, but I have a feeling. On the contrary, that was very good, very controlled driving those drivers had. Trevor Mack, as a matter of fact, is about 10 seconds, or actually 8 seconds back of this battle. Koeman's not close enough to make a move on Freitas that lap, so Freitas is going to be able to take a breath, and now, when they come around to complete lap 34, they'll have 8 laps left to go, and I'm sure they'll be side by side.
And now we've got some lap traffic in front of them. That is going to make a little difference, no doubt. Let's just hope that Freitas, my sentimental favorite for tonight, can get by really quickly and that they can hold up Jan Koeman, because I really want Freitas to win this race.
I hope the desk you're commentating that is made of wood, Richard, because I'd be tapping it right now, unfortunately. Koeman, though, does fall back a little bit off Freitas. I don't think he's going to be close enough to get a good run out of a final corner. Jairo Canaya, I believe he's one of the lap cars in front of him. Yet he's pulled.
Yeah, he's gone over to let the leader by. And it's still Freitas Cummins. Cummins is caught back up again onto the bumper of Freitas. Amjad Yaman just a whisker away from these two. So it's going to be a battle in the last 7 laps. And it seems like we've lost communications there with Sam. Sam, can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Richard?
Yes, I've got you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm sure that the rest of our crew has been able to keep you on the action. As a lap car pulls over, Koeman's tried to make it 3 wide there into the turn, thought better of it. When you saw the lap car beside him, Amjad Yamin takes a look, and is Yamin going to try and make a move for second? You're going to wonder. We got a replay right here. I'll keep you on tabs on what's going on in the track. Yamin's got a slipstream. He's going to pull to the outside. Koeman's defends on the inside. They're coming into the turn now. And Yamin drifts out wide and they stay 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that was an interesting move there. Yamin nearly pulled it off. But in the end had to back out because Koeman wasn't giving an inch to him. But all this has worked a little bit in Freitas' favor, Sam.
It has, and we keep saying that. We keep saying that. Well, what's happening here, guys? It's a repetitive pattern. Koeman looks for position on Freitas, fails, falls back. Yamin looks for position on Koeman, fails, falls back. All of a sudden, Freitas pulls out with about a second of lead. The 2 cars behind him run him down, and it all happens again. How long can Freitas keep this up? Well, there's 2 answers to that question. Either he can keep it up for 6 more laps, or he can't. If he can, he wins the race. If he can't, who knows?
That is exactly right, and the pressure must be mounting inside his head more than anything else. Tremendously, Sam, because you've got Jan Koeman behind you. You know that he's faster than you in qualifying, in practice, in other races. What do? I noticed that Yaman has pulled back just a little bit. I don't know whether he's just fallen back through a small mistake or whether, in fact, he's doing that intentionally. But at the moment, 2 drivers fighting for the lead. They virtually bumper to bumper, Sam.
Someone who may have made a mistake is Trevor Mack. He has lost 4th position to Dread down as Freitas makes a mistake. Koeman is going to look to the outside. That's not going to work. But he is close enough now to try and make a run going down into turn 1. What do you think about this, Ayrton? They're coming to 5 laps left to go.
I think Koeman definitely has the pace, and Freitas just needs to make sure he doesn't make any more mistakes like that one in the chicane, and he'll be able to hold off. This track's very difficult for passing in the lead, and right on his bumper, Jan Koeman is, and Amjad Yamin ready to sneak if either of these drivers make a mistake.
And I'm saying to Freitas, every time you go down the main straight, go to the inside to defend, because that's the only way to hold Jan Koeman out. If Jan Koeman gets a sniff on it, and he makes a mistake, he puts a few wheels off the grass there, that gives Freitas just a little bit of a breather. So, as I say, it's all happening here, Sam.
Yes, it is, and we'll keep you updated on the battle for 4th as well. Koeman's put 2 wheels off there. Is he going to get a slowdown penalty? Nope. Probably doesn't know the meaning of the word slowdown. Dranis still in front of Mack for 4th position. And Freitas better be praying, breathing, taking a sigh of relief or something. He is doing an amazing job here, holding off basically an alien driver, we would call him in the iRacing world, Jan Koeman. And man, I'm getting excited just watching it. I have no idea how Freitas feels right now.
We have 4 laps to go, 4 more chances for Koeman to make a pass. The only passing zone known on this track that's worthwhile unless the driver makes a mistake is turn 1. So Koeman is running out of time.
Well, guys, remember a few races ago where it was Freitas and Koeman. As Koeman looks to the inside, can't make it stick though, is covered by Freitas. and Freitas is really under pressure now. But I was mentioning that these two, I think it was at Laguna Seca, went side by side over the start-finish line with Jan Koolmans in front and actually actively blocking Freitas from taking the win there. So I think we might see a last lap finish like that, where these two guys will throw everything at. As Koolmans looks to the inside, can he make it stick? No, Freitas covers. Sam, it is way too exciting for me. Take over right now.
Having a couple more connection issues, Richard. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and it's all good now. Go ahead.
Yeah, Trevor Mack has made a mistake, not a major one. He's still in 5th place, but he has fallen back of Jarnis, so it looks like Jarnis will be getting his, I believe that will be his 5th top 5 finish of the season. Koolmans once again looking to the inside of Freitas. I mean, Koolmans is smart enough to know that that's not the best overtaking opportunity, and he's got to be really careful because he keeps putting wheels off in the chicane, and if he does that too much, he will get a slowdown penalty that he'll have to obey, Ayrton.
Yep, and as looking to the inside while João Freitas blocks, and that was very close, almost touching, as Koolmans now goes to the outside for turn 1. Not going to work unless he breaks really late and pinches. But it looks like he's going to fall back behind Freitas now.
Unbelievable stuff here. And meanwhile, MJ Yaman is caught back up onto the bumper of Koolmans. This is lap 41. As they cross the line, there will be 1 lap left, Sam.
I had a race, I believe it was the In-Race and News Challenge. I can't remember the guy's name. We had a battle at Lime Rock, came out of a final turn, and the guy in second made a slipstream pass. I think it may have been me. We finished less than a 10th apart from one another. We may be seeing a repeat of that here because that final turn can lead itself to side-by-side battles. And Koolmans tried to make a pass too early there. In fact, he's going to have to go defensive on Yarmin. Now, this is going to be very interesting watching the battle for second here. If Yarmin takes a look on Koolmans, he may miss out on an opportunity for Koolmans to catch Freitas, them to make a mistake, and Yarmin to win the race. I think Yarmin's got to go for second because Koolmans is too far back now after that challenge. Freitas has pulled out to too much of a lead. Unless Koolmans can really run him down on his final lap, it looks like Freitas may finally get that elusive victory.
Yes, and I want to be the one to call him over the line. He's now got a good second, maybe 2 even on Jan Koolmans. I don't think Jan Koolmans has enough pace to catch him now. That was actually due to Yarman making a very, very strong challenge on Koolmans. So we go into the chicane, and there's only a couple of turns left for Mr. João Freitas to take his first win of the series. And Koolmans comes to the outside, and
he's got a slowdown penalty
over the hill into the final turn. João Freitas will win his first race, Sam.
Freitas did a very conservative line through the chicane. Koolmans did completely opposite. He went for broke, and he came up short. He got a slowdown penalty, and that cost him second place to Yarmin, who does get his first podium since they came here at Lime Rock a time before. Freitas gets his first ever MX5 Blondies World Tour win. Congratulations to the Portuguese race car driver here today. What a fantastic job he did.
Excellent stuff. I had my heart in my throat for him all through that last lap. Amjad Yaman made a very strong challenge on Koolmans, and Koolmans, under pressure, put a few wheels off through the chicane, got a slowdown penalty, and it was all over for him there. I'm hoping that these 3 drivers will come into the booth because I would love to chat to João Freitas. Sam?
Yes, and let's go down our finishing order. You see a ticker at the top of your screen, but we'll read the top 10 out for you. João Freitas got his first ever MX5 Blondies World Tour victory here today. Amjad Yamin got lucky on the final lap and got second place from Jan Koolmans, who falls to third, which I don't think honestly is going to hurt him too much in the points. Jarnis got 4th place and Trevor Mack got 5th. Ayrton?
Jake Tucker, in his first race in the Blondies series, managed a impressive 6th place finish. Behind him, Marcus Lambert, after starting in the pit, finished in 7th. Mikhail Gustafsson, our fastest roadster driver, finished in 8th. Eric Garcia, Blondie's very own driver, in 9th. And Mihai Mesison in 10th.
Well,
Yes.
we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back, and hopefully we'll have interviews with our podium here today. What an exciting, heart-stopping race we saw here at Lime Rock Chicane today. Great results for a lot of drivers, not so great for some. One of those drivers I know, Jan Koemans, pulled off a 3rd place finish here today, but I know he probably wanted a little bit more. Jan, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Well, we can't say you didn't try. We saw you jumping all over that chicane on the final lap, making moves on Fridas, left, right, everywhere. How were those final 10 or so laps from your perspective?
Very, very difficult, obviously. Somehow I found it very difficult to actually take the chicane driving behind somebody. It kind of obscures your view, and it just made it absolutely impossible. So after my initial mistake in lap 2 or lap 3 or something, I was always playing catch up. It didn't help that I took several seconds too long worth of fuel during my pit stop.
Well, that's unfortunate. Are you satisfied with a 3rd place finish? If you could go back like 10 minutes into the past, is there something different you would have done?
I don't think it was possible to pass Zhao. I mean, it's a short track, and if you take the inside on the straight, there's no real way past. And if you block at the chicane, then the straight after that is too short, so I don't think passing him on the track would have worked. I blame myself for the mistakes I made, and aside from that, I think everybody drove a great race today, and congratulations to Zhao and Amjad. I'm not satisfied with 3rd, but I had good fun anyway.
Well, you certainly put on the show for us. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank, or anything else you'd like to say?
Not really. The race went by so quickly. I'm not sure who I passed or who I hit. So it was all a bit tricky.
Well, thanks for the great show today, Koemans. I'm going to hand it over to Ayrton Ellis. He's going to interview our 2nd place driver, Amjad Yarman.
Hello, Amjad. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Congratulations on a second-place finish. Lime Rock Park has definitely proven to be one of your favorite tracks after a win earlier in the season. Are you satisfied with second place, or do you think you had a chance at victory?
I'm happy with the second, but I think I could have had the victory. I mean, got past Joel before my pit stop, but he jumped me in the pit stop. So then Jan came back. Thankfully, they fought it out, and I got my second place. So I'm happy about it. So thanks to Crowd's playing, thanks to Blondies. It was a fun race.
Well, good job there. I was surprised because I was expecting you to gain some time on Zhao in the pit stop. Zhao has been known for messing up his pit strategy a little bit by being unfamiliar with it, and you, known as the doctor, I was surprised that he was able to get that jump on you.
Yeah, I think what it was is he had a spot, close to the end of pit lane, so we jumped at the same time, and naturally he's going to be leading.
Okay, and in the last few laps, I noticed that Jan pulled a little block on you. Do you think that was a little dirty, or do you think that was just racing for the last few laps?
6 of one, half dozen of the other. I mean, we're both fighting for a championship here, so I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, but I expected it, and I think Kama bet him at the last lap.
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, very insightful interview there with Amjad Ylimäinen. Anyhow, now the driver we've all been waiting for interview, I'm going to let Richard do it. João Freitas, after it, let's hear his thoughts. Richard Losper, I'm going to hand it over to you on his first victory in the MX-5 Blondies World Tour.
Thank you, Sam. João, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Richard.
João, many congratulations on your first win in this series. I have to say, right at the top of the show, I said I am holding out for João to win his first race today. How did it go for you? I'm sure you must have had your heart in your throat many times with Jan Koemans challenging you all the way through. And of course, at some point, MJ as well.
Yeah, sure. It was probably the toughest race I had here in the Blondies. And I had a strategy of being taking the chicane very easily, very kind of slow, because of those slowdowns, and it worked. In the second lap, I was already in first. I still made a mistake, but in the pits I could make it up for it, so it went really well.
Well, João, you did a great job, I must say. Particularly, I thought defending towards the end of the race there, where Jan Koemans was making some really strong challenges on you. And I was saying to myself here, stay on the inside, stay on the inside. Were you thinking that way as well?
Yes, of course. I knew that by taking that strategy of going slowly in the chicane, I would have Jan Koemans and Amjad and Richard Ekholm right in my tail, so I knew I had to defend very hard, so it worked for me. So it's very hard to overtake here in Lime Rock, so yeah. Well, you did a magnificent job, João. Congratulations on your first win. You've been so close so many times. It must feel really good to take your first win home. Yeah, finally.
Okay, is there anyone you want to thank, or any shout-outs you want to give to other people?
Yeah, shout-outs to Blondies, the sponsors, and Bill Za for organizing all this show, so shout-out to them.
Well, thank you and congratulations once again, João. It was a great race. We hope this is not your last win. Many thanks.
Many thanks.
Back to you, Sam.
Honestly, Richard, I don't think it's going to be his last win. Now, one driver who we didn't talk a whole lot today, but he had a fairly good race. Marcus Lambert qualified 10th on the grid, but decided to start from the pits, and I believe he pulled off a 7th place finish. Marcus, can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
We were talking to Bill Zahn before the race started. He said he thought this would be a very difficult track to make passes. How did you make so many?
Well, I didn't plan on making that many. I qualified 10th, and I only wanted to make 9 passes, but my computer, something happened with my computer. The simulator suddenly closed, and when I got back into the sim, the back end of the pack was 7 seconds in front of me when I got out of the pits. So, granted, that hindsight 2020, that was actually not that bad of a decision, but that was not the original plan.
Well, I'm just taking a look at the stats here. You're sitting up there in the points. You've had pretty consistent finishes, so I'm sure this 7th is going to help you out with that respect. Man, I just think that was a great race you put together. I'm sure there was plenty of pit strategy involved. Are there any extra things that happened that you want to mention? People you'd like to thank?
Well, I got through a couple of the back markers, and I think I was in 20th, and I saw a pack of, it was at least 8 cars, and I was reeling them in a lot faster than I thought I would, and I believe the reason for that is they were just racing hard, and I had clear track in front of me. So the instant I caught the rear end of that pack of cars, I pitted, and that was the last time I saw any of those cars. I managed to hop all of them in the pits, so I definitely used a little bit of pit strategy to gain some of the time that I lost when I missed the start. So pit strategy definitely helped me this time, but I got to thank you guys here for broadcast and everything, Bill for putting on the show, and Blondies for helping Bill out with the sponsorship.
Well, we appreciate your thanks, Marcus. Thank you for talking us at the end of the race. Ayrton, do you know who else we have lined up to talk to?
Yeah, we have Richard Ekholm. After starting in 2nd place on the grid, he got a disappointing 15th place finish. Richard, can you hear me?
Yep.
Say, what happened? You had such a great qualifying, and you're right behind Cummins in the lead there, and then you just got into trouble.
Yeah, I was behind him going to the chicane, and he slowed down a lot more than I was expecting to, and I wasn't really paying attention as much as I should have been, so I cut the chicane a little bit, and I didn't want to slow down right there to give up the time gain because there was so much traffic, so I waited till the main straight, and the warning wouldn't go away, even no matter how slow I went, and then it gave me a 20-second penalty for a stop and go, and then after I served that, I ran into the back of one of the slower guys in the chicane after he got loose, and then I had damage. Certainly not the best race I've ever had.
Okay, well, yeah, you got some bad luck. You got some bad luck at Road Atlanta. When do you think you'll be able to make a mark in this series?
I don't know. I was hoping it was this race because Lime Rock is my favorite track. I hadn't done with the chicane before, but I was hoping it was going to be this race, but it wasn't to be.
Well, hopefully you'll have some better luck in the next races coming up. Do you have any thing to mention?
Just thanks to Bill Zahn for painting my car. It's a pretty sweet paint job.
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us, Richard. Sam?
Yes, we got a couple more drivers to interview right here. Mihai Messerson is just outside. We're going to see if we can bring him in. Mihai Messerson, this is only his 2nd top 10 finish of the season. So, Mihai, I'm sure if you can hear me, you're pretty pleased with your result today.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I was just saying this is your 2nd top 10 finish of the season. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, sure I am. It was a very nice race. I started pretty poorly. I got into trouble in that chicane a couple of times, but in the end my early pit strategy worked out.
Yes, certainly. Unfortunately, we're running out of time here on the broadcast. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for making this race happen for you today?
Sure, just give a shout out to Blondies for their support for this league. Thank you.
Yes, well, certainly we appreciate that. Got the music starting up here. I'm going to ask Giancarlo quickly if we have time for one more interview.
Probably not. Better wrap it up.
Okay, we'll see if we can get one more. Bill Zahn or Jake Tucker? I'll let him decide. Here's Bill Zahn. Bill, we had a fantastic race here today. What were your thoughts on it?
Oh, I've never been more happy to have an equipment failure. It broke the first lap, and I got to watch 42 laps of... How about those guys, huh? Did they put on a show up there?
Yes, sir, they most certainly did. We're running out of time right here now, so we'd like to thank you for putting on such a fantastic series for us to commentate to.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks to Blondies. Thanks to Global SimRacing Channel. Good luck.
Yes, certainly. We have our own thanks to shout out as well. Unfortunately not able to get to Jake Tucker today. A fantastic 6th place finish from him. We want to say thank you to the Blondies Bar in Long Beach, California, the official sponsor of the MX5 World Tour. We also want to thank the makers of all the software and hardware we used on this stream. iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch.tv, Ava Media and Audio Technica. If you'd like to find out more about the Global SimRacing channel, check us out at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, where we also have archived races and race highlights. We're also on Twitter as @GSR Channel, and you can also find us on Facebook. Our next race will be the same time, same place next Saturday, where we return to Silverstone for 30 laps on the south portion of the circuit. For Ayrton, Richard, Stefan, Giancarlo, and the rest of the Global Sim Racing channel, I'm Samuel Reiman saying so long everyone, and we'll see you on the track.